So this is going to be Mahusa Farm version 2. Hopefully I've done a little bit more testing this time, and hopefully this entire plot is on one tile. I also got a little bit carried away and I started to build and I wasn't recorded. But this is not a bad thing. We've already made not some mistakes, but some interesting discoveries. And going off the comments of the last video, I'm going to make some tweaks to what we already have. Let me just talk you through what we already have. So this up here is a monorail system. I decided I was going to use a monorail system and run it with like tires and wheels like this sort of thing that we've got here. Now this block is only available from the dev commands. It is not a modded block, it is a dev command block. It is the highest friction block in Scrap Mechanic, and for that purpose it is going to be what we use our rail for, so that these wheels, which are from the mod pack, these got high friction, this has got high friction, we should get a lot of grip and we should get some movement. The monorail system, as you see, currently just runs over sort of this section of plottage, so it's 5 plots. I'm going to do it in section of 5 just to keep things nice and small, and hopefully that way the water cannons and the planting stuff and the harvesting stuff will all fire and we won't have any misfires or anything like that. So we're going to keep it nice and small, but what we're going to do is we're going to zigzag this monorail system. Basically we'll zigzag away all the way down to the bottom. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, it means that it will finish at that end. The last set of 5 plot will put us facing that way. I'm not sure if I want to just run it up by the side, or I might take it sort of up and over the top. Currently, just for testing, we've got 5 water cannons linked up to a water storage chesting over here. Again, it's all wireless. We're going to be doing wireless unless we see any problems we come into. And just for testing purposes, this is just run off an electric engine. We got over here. Boop. So that'll just kind of trundle through nicely. Obviously it's not watering at the minute because I don't have anything set up to water. But when it goes around the other side, it'll water the black dots. When there's a sensor on top, then notices the black dots. And it'll go down and then it'll go back up. But I might just take this off and run it off a controller. The issue that we have there is the size of the wheel's bearing rotation will dictate its overall speed. Little bit of complications, but you know what I mean. Because it's got small wheels, we run it off a controller. Small wheels rotation means, you know, its travel speed is limited. Let me just talk you through how this is built. Really simple. 3 wheels at the top. That's what drives us. 2 wheels each side. That kind of keeps us level over the rail. The suspension pieces here and here are literally for a no clip, so that I can keep this, which is going to be a frame that's going to go the entire length to hold the monorail up. The suspension, as you saw, passes straight through it. There's no collision on suspension, so it means that this can just run through. Again, this monorail system is going to be split. So as you can see here, we've used wedge pieces so that the left-hand side and the right-hand side are not connected. This hopefully will stop any sort of bounce effect that sometimes happens when you connect long pieces over a long distance. In order to keep this all on one tile, I'm thinking about going above everything. Because of how much clearance we've got above this, it's literally one more block currently, one more block above the monorail. I'm potentially going to go build a floor up above us, which we can then use for the seeds and the storage and everything else. That way it's all on one tile, so there shouldn't be any render issues. I mean, there isn't at the minute because you render in the tile that you're on and the next one next to it, so I render in this tile and that tile. But if I keep it all on one tile, hopefully it might help. I don't honestly know. There's only one way to find out, and that's just to do it. But I thought I'd catch you guys up just so that you know, kind of clued in on what was going on. It's currently this long, just so that when it turns, if it wobbles around too much, it's nice and straight. But we don't actually need it to be that long. It kind of... Whoops. We don't actually need it to be that long. It kind of works out pretty well for us. It turns nice enough, so we can actually shorten that down quite substantially. So we are in fact there, and that'll help us out a lot. And it'll keep our space nice and reduced, which is pretty good indeed. So I'll just show you quickly. This thing is now on a controller. This is like the maximum speed that the controller will go at. So this is how fast the farm is going to be going. I think that should be slow enough so that the vacuum pumps can trigger, but it's also quick enough that, you know, well, it's maximum speed, so we can't go any quicker. So it is what it is. So this is like a loading platform, and like you guys are seeing, it will just load itself up nice and easy. Because it works really well on the ramps. So it works beautifully well on the ramps, and then it can just trigger when it sees to trigger. I'm just going to build this stuff out and see where we get to. So as you can see, it's being a bit trippy at the minute. The wheels and that are going in. This is why I got to split it up into all these little sections that you see here, using the ramp pieces just to kind of split it, because it's trying to do too much with it as one big piece. It's getting a bit crazy. And that's half the track looking where it should be. So what we got here is this half. You see that this joint here and this joint here, which makes the half that end connected to the big long line at there. I don't know if that's good, bad, or indifferent, to be fair. I guess only time will tell. But it should stop the bounce on this stuff. So I'm going to do that. So obviously that starts a new piece, and then I'll cut that there. And, you know, so forth all the way down. Whoa, we're nearly there. So, we learned a couple of lessons in that. These wheels are really slow. Like, really slow. But I think I'll actually be able to make this higher now. And our sensor is also not quite in the middle. But that's okay. I mean, it's not in the middle anyway. It's right there, so... But that's okay. This will hopefully speed things up a bit. In fact, we can send this the other way around. There's no right or wrong way necessarily to send this. But... it's a little better. Well, speed works for watering anyway, but for planting I think that might be a little bit different. How's it going to go round? Woo. Woo. Goes round pretty good. Like I said, the black dots aren't actually anywhere yet, they're just really random. So it's interesting that it seems to be working pretty well. For the most part. That's awesome. So we could do that and it makes it a little bit quicker. So what we're saying when we get to the end, so far we're not doing an awful lot of anything. I did say I might send it up over the top, but that might be a little bit tricky. Maybe. Woo! Let's see if that'll work. And then... if we can get that high, that's good. We'll just see if we can get higher. Alright, ease. With ease. Okay, so we can keep going up until we're above us. Bada bing, bada boom. Ah, We need to go one more level. Yeah, yeet. Excellent. So that's awesome. While we know that that works, I'm not going to bore you guys with too much of the next. But long story short, what I'm going to do is then I'm going to split this eventually, so it'll feed into three separate rails. Three separate rails, one for water, one for planting, one for harvesting. The reason why I'm going to do that is let's just pretend I've planted some broccoli. Obviously, that needs watering twice. If I've got an ability to send only the watering machine down, that's going to help me out loads because it means I don't have to send this huge big lummox of a machine down that's 90% of it isn't going to be much use. That works. Okay, cool. Awesome. Awesome. Number one works. Number two. Just need this to stop moving like it's supposed to do. So number two should take it to the left side now. So I'll bring it here. It's in place. Might need to take that corner up. What's it stuck on? It's stuck on that now. Okay. That's okay. We just have to move this side back and then move that side. Whether that side works. It's not a problem. Not a problem. Small teething issues. We're one block too far over on the other side. Number two works awesomely. And I guess finally we've got to just check number three, and then we can try and find the way to run this up automated somehow. I'm going to have a few memory bits and some sensors that can see colour, and then I just got to find somewhere that we can actually put colour onto the machine. Let's just spray the whole thing, and then we've just got to get a sensor that can pick up colour. And jobs are good. And that passes through there. Lovely. Ooh. So we need to come back one block on each side. That's all right. We just take it back a block. Ooh. Bada bing, bada boom. Right, okay. So we can turn that one off. We can turn that one on. We'll give this a try again. One last time. And hopefully now the middle one should work. It should just trundle. Slowly catch a monkey up the middle. And all will be well, maybe. So I think that gap's quite tight, actually. It is. This is going to overhang, look. Ooh. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, so we've now got a system to split it all up. I just got to work on things a little bit more, and yeah, we'll see where we get to. Awesome. So this is going to be our little, like, control panel wall, if you like. So we're going to be looking at logic, 3 different logic. Obviously, we're going to do the memory bit. And then I'm thinking we might need to run it out of a timer. Timer goes into a controller. Now, obviously, these are going to be memory bits. And the memory bit goes into the timer. And I'm saying the timer goes into the activation. The reason being, we're going to need the timer to go into the activation. Because we're going to need to pause these things so that it lets the other one reset. Master reset resets everything. Boom. Activate that one, activate that one, activate that one. So that activates that, and that activates that, and that activates that. So we actually need is the button to reset that one, the button to reset that one. Okay, so we'll push the button. It's going to be close because there's that half-second countdown. It might work. It might work. Okay. And then finally, number 3. Great. Okay, so that works. Number 1. What we need then is, instead of the timer being in here, we need the timer to be on the button press. This will make more sense. So what we have is the button press activates the timer. Will that work? Yes, there we go. Okay. Okay, so what we got now then? Button press activates the timer, timer counts down, and then it releases. But the same button press automatically resets the other one. So if we put number 1 on, there's a slight cooldown and then it closes. Go number 2, deactivate straight away. And that slight cooldown needs to be a little bit longer, so we'll go for 65, 25 ticks. And if we activate number 3, it gives it enough time, once we've found the sweet spot, to move the previous one out the way before loading in the next one. I think we pretty much got it there then. So that's the system. A little bit sketchy in places, but that is the system. Works pretty well. This will all be automated by different sensors, and the sensors will pick up. If we have it pick up early enough, then this thing will all be ready to go. So that's how to split it, and then all we've got to do is just run it out on a middle rail again when we're happy, so that we can put them all back together when we decide to run whichever one it is that we want. Sweet. Okay, so let me just try and explain what we've got here. It's a little bit crazy, a little bit complicated. It's color coordinated. Blue's water, green is planting, and red is harvesting, for example. So on the left-hand side, where the blue kind of starts, that is where the monorail thing will come from. That's where it will feed from. So as you'll notice, we've got a few little bits and pieces here. So I need to split these up, but I also need to bring them back together. So here, I've got my blue track is currently all connected. Now, if I press for the green track, you can see that we swap over this side. And then we also need to swap over this side as well on the right, so that we switch it over so that it can change tracks. And luckily for us, we've also got it set up so that we can do the red track as well. Currently, I'm sat in a seat and doing with this buttons. Okay, so now all we've got left to do is to build the transporting systems. Now I'm going to start with the harvester, I think. I'm going to use this as like a reference. But I'm going to start with the harvester simply because it's really going to be so much easier to do because we're not going to need 5 pumps. We're only going to need like 2 at most, and we can put them like where this one is, and we can put them where this one is. So that'll be, you know, much better because it'll cover the spread, as you guys probably know. One pump will cover a 3x3 section, so that'll help us out a little bit there. So basically, we just got to kind of copy this. Here, and it shouldn't matter which way up the suspension goes, so we could get away with this one. This way up. And then, basically, we just got to see how it kind of all sticks together. At the minute, we're kind of going to be here, like so. So this will basically help us work out where we need to put the vacuum pump. So I want to put one here. And then the other one's going to be like here somewhere. So hopefully this will keep the weight low and it will keep it all balanced with it being sort of all underneath the wheels. If it doesn't, we'll have to have a look at setting up some sort of gyroscope thing or, you know, this kind of deal just to see what we can do to bring it in. And then if I do this here perhaps, then that will let us put all the instruments that we need. Alright, so that's pretty simple and basic with that one, hopefully. So what we've got up here is the sensor turned to red, so that that sensor will see the little red line that's on that block there. The sensor on top is black, so that it'll sense all the line, and then it's just a case of making sure that all of this is wired up, so that push button makes it go, and it'll just trundle along. And then that sensor will hit this memory bit, which will reset it. The reason why it's 2 memory bits is because when it's seeing the red post, it allows me to press and hold the push button down so that this section will keep it moving forwards. Otherwise, it'll just bounce between seeing the red block on the sensor turning the circuit off and the switch to turn it on. So hopefully, that should be pretty stable and balanced that way. There we go. Yeah, you see it's a lot more stable, it's not bouncing around so much. That's what the gyroscopes are for. A lot better. A lot better. And then I'll see that red block. Whoop. Super. Okay, and finally, we've got the planter. So, same old thing again. Start with me wheels and we'll work from that. Right, so we've got it green. We've got to go in the direction that we want to go. We want these to be planting. But we needed one final AND gate so that the AND gate is triggered by the sensor, activating all the vacuum pumps. Like so, and then likewise. All of these bad boys should be skimming off the top of that, so that when the button's pressed, on it will be. Might need to bring that, like I say, bring that sensor forward one. It is right in the middle, but there's a slight lean on the way that this is aiming. So it might not do it, and it also might be too fast. So we should do pretty much all these plots. Yeah, it's too fast. Okay, cool. So we only need to be like, maybe here, if not slower again. This is painfully slow now, though. Unfortunately, but this is what the issue is. Because we are restricted by the speed of a vacuum pump. Interesting. It's fine. Why did it miss the second one, though? No idea why it missed that second one. But the rest of it's good. Can I up the speed 1 notch? No. 1 more notch on the controller means that it misses 1 extra section. So that is the speed that we've got to go at to plants, which is kind of sad, but it is what it is. And it misses this black block every time. It's not too much of a big deal. We can just lower it. Getcha. Nice. Okay, so now we got the blue, which is all this watery thing. So this is here now. All being well, if I push this button. Yes, the sensor sees it. It's changing lanes. It's pulled the blue in. So it gets it this way. Gets it going down. Doesn't get it going up. Don't need that one. Need that one. Don't need that one. Need that one. For some reason, that gap is just that little bit more. So frustratingly, for some reason, it seems to miss some rows. It doesn't really make any sense. I thought it could be because this is too low, but then it doesn't miss every single plot. I thought adding the extra block would make a difference, but then it seems to be missing it. Like, it still seems to miss it. It's a timing issue. Something's going a bit screwy with its timing. So if I take that block off, it's going to miss this row. It picks it up. So sometimes the timing's good, and sometimes the time is slightly out. Like there. So it hadn't quite finished pumping before it crossed that line. But I don't know how to do anything about that because it literally is, it's just a block thick. And as for this tile section, I don't even know anymore. I had this laid out so that I put crops in this corner. And I put crops sort of all the way down the edges and in the corners and in the center to try and pick it out. And I thought I had it. When I removed crops from this way, brought the field in, narrowed it down, I got it so I only had one timer when I had all the four corners laid out. I put enough plants in each corner. I put like 12 plants in each corner just in case. I did the whole length of the line up. And did the whole length of the line out that way. And I never got the raid timers I'm getting now. I only got one out of this entire plot. So I'm a little bit brassed off by that. But I guess it is what it is. As well as this misfiring randomly, which doesn't make any sense. I thought this solution would work, but it turns out it's not quite there. You got the added bonus of watering. So this bad boy will zoom down here like crazy just to water everything, and it should do it. It should be fine. Watering's good. Watering's fine. Watering works. See, watering's hitting everything. That's perfect. Absolutely perfect. But the planting just misses a couple here and there. It's crazy. But we'll get another raid before this is finished. That's the only other thing. So this option it's a different option, but it's not as viable, if you like. Because of the speed that it does it in, it's just not quick enough. Now I guess we could split it into two sections, or we could just make these things bigger again, but yeah, seemingly at the minute this is not, it's not going to work too well. Two raid timers, interesting. I'm starting to wonder, you know, if you can actually even just get one raid timer. When I sectioned this thing up to try and check it, 100% sure that I put enough plants on the potential tiles, but it still just didn't quite get it. It looks like it is just like the line, which doesn't make sense because it didn't do it before. Kind of frustrating. But the monorail system, it does work for what we're trying to achieve. It's just a little bit slower than what it could be doing, I guess. And that's all to do with, like I say, it's all to do with the time on these vacuum pumps. Because they do have a 17 tick rate. You can't go any faster than that. That's what limits you. It's also what causes me problems on these gaps, where it sometimes misses it, sometimes gets it. So that was random. So it's a little bit, not quite there, a little bit of tweaking somewhere in the line to be done. I can't do anything about it though, because it's literally just a timing thing. Sometimes the vacuum pump has finished its cycle, and then the other times it's a split second behind it, which is causing us to miss a plot here or there. So far out of the two systems, having something that just goes straight across the top worked so much better. If you guys haven't got a massive farm like this, chances are you'd be good. Ultimately, I suppose I could just kind of connect all these back up again and it might work that way. But like I say, I've got these splits in because it needs to keep it all divided, basically. Otherwise, it has a weird bounce effect and it's just not going to be good for anybody. And in fact, we can even set this one off over here. Now what I'm going to do, actually, then we colour coordinate this. Harvest. Planting. And watering. We'll go over to this. Harvester. Put this on. Color code that. Now that means that we can sit in the seat, hopefully, and we're going to connect these up. So we want red. We want this to turn this on, but we also need it to turn blue off. How did he get in? A lot more manageable when you've got them on the outside. But yeah, so the water's gone into place and stopped. The green's come into place and stopped, and the red was already here. So now because we've got a wireless gate on the red, if I hit this, once we're past the red, we can let go. The harvester will do the harvester thing and see if it works. It should be plenty wide enough to get what we need to get. See what the speed's like on it. It's as fast as it can be. So it'll be good, hopefully. So unfortunately, it is too quick again. It was kind of expected though, but I was hoping that it would do a 3x3 plot. It might be, it's just half the stuff isn't grown yet, so it's hard to tell. Yeah, it does do a 3x3, that's cool. It's still a little bit quick for it, because it's still missing some. It's getting most of it. It's these kind of things here that are in between pumps. But it's doing alright for the most part, you know? I was hoping it could harvest quick. It kind of can, it kind of can't. We could probably take it down one tick on the controller. It's pretty speedy, this, anyway. It's got a big enough range that it can... If we bring it back down this way... The only thing with this is, I don't know why, but when you've got a controller on loop and you lower the speed, for whatever reason, it seems to send it backwards. It's weird. But as you can see, guys, the planting and the watering is a somewhat success. The harvesting is also a little bit of a success as well. Just for whatever reasons, a little bit of a struggles with getting this whole single farm thing going on. Looking at this, I might need to move this entire cell or this entire farm, maybe one or two fields down towards the bottom end, and I think we'd have it, I think. Hopefully. But just as a concept idea, it kind of works. It's a little bit slower than the previous one because we're doing it in 5 plots at a time rather than like 85 plots. But it is what it is, you know. It works all right. It misses a few plots here and there, which is a bit of a random one, but that's to do with the vacuum pump speed when we're planting anyway. But harvesting's okay now that we've kind of just knocked the speed down one more. It's got a wide enough spread to be able to capture him. So if it misses one set on one block, it gets it on the next block along. So harvesting works. And it's got plenty of time to send all its seeds and its fruit back up to base. So somewhat of a success again, I guess. And like I say, with it being like this, obviously this is only going to harvest what's available now. But it'll get back up here, and it means that we can send it down again and again and again without needing to plant or without needing to water. It doesn't take the whole machine with it, so therefore, in a strange way, there's less logic required to look at the plots and say, if there is a plot here, don't plant or try to water it. Likewise, if we planted something like broccoli, you'd have to tell it to be able to water twice, which gets really confusing when you're trying to say, hey, if it's tomatoes, don't water twice, but hey, if it's broccoli, then water twice. So send them as individual things is an opportunity, maybe. It's a way to go. This works. This clears what it needs to clear, waters what it needs to water, and everything else in between. It's a different concept. It's an interesting concept, but yeah, a little bit slower. But if you've got all the time in the world, you could kind of set up as an auto farm. As you can see here, these bad boys seem to be working as well. Apart from that one, for unknown reason. That helps turn it on. There we go. So that will draw out all of the tomatoes and stuff. There we go. All the tomatoes are going in here now. So that keeps all the products separate. Randomly, for whatever reason, some of these work, some of them don't. I'm not entirely sure what's going on there. A little bit of a wall seems to be doing some justice as well. Although this mad lad's got in. I'm kind of thinking this might have spawned in here. Because the tote bot was in there as well. The wall's high enough to stop them getting in, so let me know what you guys think anyway. Different system. Slower system. More engineered system. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching, guys. And take it easy, and I'll see you again next time. Take it easy, bye for now. Bye, everybody.